the loner phase, that part of the journey, that chapter of the self-development growth book that we're writing right now, the loner phase, where we start to recognize that we're on our own. We start to be on our own a lot more due to this recognition of where we are and what we now no longer want. We start to break away from what no longer serves us. And when I talk about what no longer serves us, I'm talking about the people in our lives, the habits, the behaviors, the environments that we find ourselves in. We have this inner calling, and this is when we really start to determine and feel into, on a subjective level, vibration and frequency. Vibration and frequency becomes less terminology and actually becomes a more subjective, experiential thing that's happening. We start to feel this like difference within us, and then we start to see it expressed in things just falling away. Have you ever noticed that like someone will just all of a sudden disappear? They'll just go like, and this isn't just like one person. This could be like groups of people could just disappear. Sometimes it feels like overnight. I've got a chuckling. I'm always chuckling, reflecting on my journey as I talk to you. Thank you for receiving my presentation, how I present these videos. So thank you so much. But you just things start to change, man. But you do get to this point where, okay, I'm on my own. And there's always this phase where it can go on for what can feel like quite a long time. And the reason why I wanted to touch on this is because it's in this time, which is really poignant grounds for what you're going to start getting pulled into. This is the ground, this is like the genesis of what you're going to start becoming. And feeling into that resonance, you start to feel into this, what am I becoming? What do I want to become? What decisions am I going to make now that are going to be really positive and aligned for what I now want to start stepping into? It's a really courageous phase. It's a moment of true courage when we start to step away from those things that no longer serve us. And I said about things just disappearing, there's actually sometimes where you have to really face things within your life. You have to have courageous conversations where you have to tell people, this is not what I want anymore. When I was into addiction of many kinds, when it was like drugs, alcohol, there was pornography addiction as well. Oh my God, that was like one of those undercover marinations back in the day, like many years ago, when it reached its peak in my like early 20s, mid 20s, when I started to feel the effects of all of this. So I had drug addiction, I had pornography, I was doing all kinds of stuff at that moment in time. It was absolute chaos. And there was an instant where something happened within me. I can't pinpoint, there wasn't the time, but there was this unearthing of like, this is not what I want anymore. This isn't me. This just isn't me. And I've always got this voice that's saying, Alex, you got this. Keep pushing forward. Keep going, man. You can make these changes. It's okay. Sometimes I would ignore that voice and it'd be like, okay, oh damn, okay, so a little bit of procrastination goes on and then da-da-da-da. But that back in the day, I'm like 41 now, my real profound awakening and life-shifting moment was in my mid-20s. And I had this realization, well, like something has to change. And I had to start really reconstructing my life. And it involved me drifting into a place where I was on my own. On my own, I felt disconnected from my family, the friend network I was with at the time, my peers, my work colleagues, everyone at work. There was this moment where I just felt like I wasn't, there wasn't feel like any alignment going on. And it led me to being almost quite hermit-like, really diving into that hermit loner character phase where I dived into learning, I dived into knowledge, I dived into all the things that I'm now into. When it was back in the day when things were really starting off with that, we could talk about breath work, meditation, ice exposure, dipping myself in the cold, all the tools. And there's an infinite amount of ones that I feel like I've come into contact with and experienced and processed through. And I found myself cutting myself off from the world. I found myself cutting off from conversations. I was like, I don't want to talk about where I am. I don't want to talk about what's going on with me. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to commune with myself, like in a really deep way. This was back in the day before I even had the courage to use the word God. Like back in the day, I was so this really kind of this naive like guy, just blindly working my way, and I still am, still know nothing. Just like I'm holding my hands up like, yeah, man, I'm not sitting here saying I know it all or anything like that, but there's definitely been an evolutionary curve of development and maturity in lots of different areas. But back then I was very unconscious and becoming conscious. So using the word God, that wasn't even mentioned or anything like that. I was like, this deep communion. Like, wow, just this like shedding away. And when it involved me diving into this loner phase, then there was like something happened where I processed for about, say, 2 or 3 years. Then I started being a personal trainer, and then I came into this whole new identity. And it's because of my loner phase and jumping into this a new identity, which was so out there, which was so totally different to what I would thought was normal or ever thought I would have done at any point in time. It's because of that loner phase which cultivated the grounds for me to be able to step into that new identity. That's why the loner phase is so important, because it's the loner phase where you're developing and evolving and maturing and developing the tools for who you are going to become, the timeline that you are being called to step into. So I'm talking about this with a gravitas, with an importance, and I'm like, yeah, it is. It really is, because it's teeing you up for what is next. It is cultivating the grounds. You are laying the seeds. Why I'm laying a lot of importance on this is because there's going to be times through the loner phase where you're going to have a couple of guys that may drift back in and be like, come on, let's go back. Like when people see you moving forward and evolving spiritually, there's something that happens unconsciously within people. They don't do it intentionally. Maybe they do. Who knows? But there's this thing going on where you kind of you're gonna get tempted to go back to your old ways. There's going to be someone who springs up. Maybe it's within your family dynamic. I've experienced that as well. You have family members start dropping comments like, why are you reading those books? Like, why are you doing that? Why are you meditating? Why are you dipping yourself in ice? Why are you doing all this stuff that is so out of the box for what the family unit is used to, potentially not just this life, but prior? And it's this really profound moment of you're stepping away from the tribe. And from an evolutionary stance, that's a really big deal. When we start to isolate ourselves, we're turning our back on the tribe. And that deep within our DNA is something that we never would have done. But now, because we're in this life, we're in this multi-dimensional space, we're in the 21st century, we're in this opening for like humanity, for spiritual growth, development. Now we can walk on our own. We have this capacity now that we're not in tribes, we're in our family, but we can actually start breaking the cord and breaking the cycle of our family dynamic. Yes. So this is why the loner phase, you're going to be tempted, man. There's going to be temptations to go back to that uncomfortable familiar. But another quality of the loner phase is you'll be in such a place where you'll be so frustrated and tired of that familiar space that you will keep driving forward. And that drive will be so strong that it will help you overlook what's being reflected back at you in the external world. That what's being projected onto the screen of space might be telling you where you're going. It's not working. This just isn't where you've got to go back because it's not working. You've got to go back. You've just got to go back because nothing's working. But there'll be a desire and a devotion within you that will be so strong that it will outride everything. Every comment, every sentence, every word, every temptation will start to be overridden by your inner pull to start stepping into what you've been sent here to become, to truly become, to live your ideal, to live your dream life, to live your life exactly how you want it to be. That's not some fairy tale daydream, but is so rooted in the truth of what you are in your deepest, most quintessential essence of self. So, my friends, the loner phase. Oh my God, the loner phase. If you're there right now, feel me right now that you are in a beautiful space. You're in the genesis of what you are going to start becoming, stepping into that higher vibrational timeline that's calling you. This letting go of that old story through the loner phase, this loner chapter. It is just that shedding the layer of those old stories and patterns of behaviors, which I've spoke about in previous videos. Stepping into the creator phase, becoming more conscious, but going back to this loner phase, going back to this loner phase of being in this heightened space, this heightened sense of awareness of like, wow, okay, so I've got to be conscious now. I've got to be really conscious about how I'm moving forward. It's okay to slip back every now and again. It's okay to divert. It's okay to slip and slide, but you'll always have this innerness that pulls you back to this equilibrium of direction of you moving forward. So if you're there right now, I love you so much. I love you so much. I feel where you are right now. I feel, let my words, let this video be the next stepping stone for you to quantum leap in your loner phase journey. To really shed that unfamiliar, to start stepping into that unfamiliar, to be excited, to be alive about stepping into that unfamiliar part, that unfamiliar energetic grid that's waiting for you to sink in and submerge in and then sprout out into this new version of you. Sending you so much love, my friends, on your spiritual journey. I love you so much. I can't wait to hear how you are getting on. Drop us a comment. Share where you are. Let's create this community. Let's share, feel where we're all out and support each other on each other's stepping stones of where we are right now. So I'll see you in the next video.